Insta360 finally did it. They dropped the Luna. And this has been a pretty interesting release, I think, for a lot of people. I'm not sure how you feel about the prolonged wait time between these camera releases and all the leaks. But at the same time, I do understand why these companies are wanting to show off their products to sort of sway people away from purchasing the competitors' options when there's so many drops releasing around the same amount of time. Now, I gotta say, I'm not a huge fan of that style of creator release. I think it creates a bit of a weird thing in the market where you have people trying to be on their absolute best behavior in order to get these products for free, because otherwise you're really sort of riding in the wake of the other creators. The Philip Bloom style, if you've watched his channel, you know, he always releases things a month or two late, but they're the best videos, so he can actually get away with doing that. Okay, let's get into what we saw between these different videos. I was genuinely shocked when I saw a few different pretty popular and trustworthy creators share some side-by-side from the Pocket to the Luna, with the Pocket 4 just looking really soft and actually having like next to no clarity, which is really odd because it was a respected YouTuber that I trust, and I've reviewed the Pocket 4. I know it's not a soft camera whatsoever. Like, it is a pretty sharp camera, and for those results to be shared, it is a little bit strange. Now, going into color, I think that it's really going to be user preference based on what you prefer more. I think possibly the Luna will have a bit better film looks if you're looking for something that leans within that category. They have the Leica film looks, which I've always liked the black and white ones myself, but I found that within the Ace Pro 2, it was a bit too heavily saturated, and I wasn't a huge fan. But judging by their most recent release, when it comes to action cameras, this Go Ultra, well, not their most recent release, but their most recent flagship, it just had far better performance. I'm shooting everything fully auto. This is standard color setting and automatic white balance. And just look how nicely it handles color compared to on the Ace Pro 2. And a lot of people have sort of swayed away because of that. But it's really no longer an issue anymore. And this is something that really surprised me, going from the Ace Pro 2 and then reviewing the X5. And that's where I first saw there was a major change in how these cameras handled color. They've really taken strides to try and fix those issues. And so far, what they've been able to do since the X5 really has been quite apparent, for me anyways. Now, because the Luna Ultra is a Leica co-partnered release, you do get those different Leica presets. Now, this is not gonna be a true Leica. If you know anything about Leica, you'll know that a lot of these companies sort of do this thing and share their name. It's not gonna be exactly like owning a Leica, but it does have the name on it, and that does count for something. One thing that actually surprises me a little bit, because we've been able to see what the Pocket 4 Pro looks like. I was a little bit surprised they didn't pull out the Hasselblad co-branding just for that release. I think it would have been a pretty wise decision, especially with the current market and how they'll likely not be able to sell that camera at all under the DJI brand name in the US. Now, Extra will likely come out with a copy, and they have announced the camera that will be released. So it's only a matter of time till we see that within the market. But it is a bit of a surprise to me that they never slapped on the Hasselblad name just for some extra attention on that release. The Insta360 Luna is really your only option. And it's sort of been apparent over the last year or 2 years that they've really sort of dug deep when it comes to overall innovation within the company. I mean, for example, you have this Mic Pro. This is an excellent microphone. They're innovating. You can say what you want about Insta360, but they are innovating, and they're innovating a lot more these days than DJI, in my opinion anyways. There's lots of brand loyalists that will disagree with me, but I'm truly not a I don't know why I can't say brand at this current moment. It's a little bit sad. I'm not a brand loyalist. I just go wherever they make good systems. I think one of the most useful things about these pocket cameras is that you can actually track yourself. And watching the different tracking comparisons between both cameras, I didn't notice a huge difference between the two. It seems like they're both pretty even for the most part, with Insta360 camera doing a little bit better at times, and then also the Pocket 4 camera doing all right at times. So I think it's pretty well tied between both of these. Now, I've watched some footage between both cameras when it comes to night footage, and it looks like the Go Ultra is a bit ahead when it comes to that night footage. Having that ambient light sensor really helps determining a proper white balance, and also can have a benefit of reducing flickering within your shot, which can be a real destroyer of quality in many different regards, and it actually can be quite distracting. And this is something that I don't see all that often out here in Canada, but if you're abroad somewhere like China or Thailand, you're going to notice a lot of flickering within your footage, and it's going to be pretty easy to encounter that. So having something like an ambient light sensor is really going to help with that. Now, not only is that ambient light sensor going to benefit you at nighttime, you also have a faster aperture at 1.8 instead of 2.0. Now, the difference between 1.8 and 2.0 is not major, but it will bring a little bit more light to your sensor. Now, this has some positives and some negatives. You will introduce more background blur and bokeh within your image, but at the same time, depending on what you're doing, you may want to show more of the background instead of less. So it is a bit of a double-edged sword. You will benefit in some ways. I mean, if you're looking for more like cinematic sort of content, this is likely a better option for you. But if you're travel vlogging and you want to show off the background and you don't want the background just blurred into oblivion, likely that 2.0 might be a little bit better, but it will hardly be noticeable. Now, where the Luna really falls behind, they've done so much great so far, but where they really do fall behind is slow motion. Comparing to a camera like the GoPro Mission 1 at 960 frames, you're only able to get 240p in HD with the Ultra, but it is a bit rough. It's not great looking footage based on the examples that I've looked at so far. Now, we still don't know what the Pocket 4 Pro is going to have when it comes to slow motion, but the slow motion at 4K 240 within the Pocket 4 was genuinely pretty useful. And if you watch my comparisons, I was pretty happy about it. You're not able to shoot in log, and that's usually a limitation with a lot of these cameras. But if you do want proper slow motion, I think you're gonna have to look elsewhere. Now, when it comes to power between both cameras, the Pocket 4 lasts 3 hours and 24 minutes, which is pretty amazing, but there is one thing you need to know. The Pocket 4 Pro is likely going to use up quite a bit more battery based on the fact that the gimbal is quite a bit heavier with that additional lens. So you're looking at likely quite a bit less battery, but I may be wrong. Now, looking at the Luna's battery life, you have roughly around 2 hours, which is still pretty good. A lot of these cameras, they have battery packs that just snap onto the bottom, or you can just use a portable battery pack, and it's really not a major issue. Now, looking at the Pocket 4's internal storage, it offers 107 gigabytes of internal compared to the 47 of the Insta360, and that is a pretty big difference. I think with the Insta360 Luna, that's about 2 vlog sessions. Depends really how much you mess up. When it comes to storage between these two devices, I really don't like the direction that DJI has went with their Pocket 4. They had a pretty good hard case with the camera at one point. From the 3, now going to the 4, you only have that soft case and that little plastic piece that holds onto the gimbal, and things just aren't nearly as protected as they once were. Now there is one thing that is worth bringing up that DC Rainmaker brought up, and that is DJI is actually sending out requests for people to go to either Toronto or Cancun in order to go on a mini vacation and test these products out. It's like a collaborative sort of meetup sort of thing. But by opting into this, you actually won't be able to review other companies' products. And that is a little bit crappy, if I'm being honest. The fact that they're not wanting to compare these two cameras against one another. I think if you're really confident about what you have, you should be wanting to offer those comparisons. Now, one thing I've had on my mind recently as well, there's a lot of creators that are claiming non-sponsored content when they're receiving these products 2 weeks, 3 weeks early, a month early. I'm really curious what you guys think about people stating videos are non-sponsored. I think everyone knows within the first day of the camera's release that it was given to them, and so there is some sort of bias, but I think 2 months on the line, you really can't tell who paid for the items and who didn't pay for the items. But I'm really curious what you think about that. Do you think people should only say that videos are sponsored when they receive money from the project? Or do you think they're sort of sponsored when you get the item for free? Let me know. I'm really curious because I think it's more of the latter. Wrapping things up right now, how did the Mic Pro sound? This is now something that I just started to use after Insta360 sent me the product, and I'm working on a review right now of this Mic Pro. It's been really nice to actually finally have Insta360 microphone so I can just easily pair it with a camera like this Go Ultra. So how does it sound? Hopefully pretty decent. As always, I have affiliate links down in the description. Buying through that greatly helps me fund future videos like the Pocket 4 review that I'll be doing hopefully within a week or so. We'll have to see when that comes out. But thanks so much for joining me today. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye.